She arrived unannounced. 3 cars, 6 voices, all hers. Her brother stumbled out first, loud and entitled, carrying that casual arrogance of men who've never earned a thing. Her sisters followed, perfume heavy enough to suffocate reason, gold flashing even under a gray sky. And then her, my wife. Her expression was strange, not guilty, not afraid, triumphant. "We need to talk," she said. I watched them from the doorway, hand still resting on the knob, the morning's quiet collapsing behind me like a fragile glass wall. They walked in as if it were theirs, laughing, whispering, eyeing the furniture, the art, the shelves of books no one in this house had ever touched but me. Then her, my wife. Her expression was strange, not guilty, not afraid, triumphant. "We need to talk," she said. I watched them from the doorway, hand still resting on the knob, the morning's quiet collapsing behind me like a fragile glass wall. They walked in as if it were theirs, laughing, whispering, eyeing the furniture, the art, the shelves of books no one in this house had ever touched but me. Then she turned to me, holding her phone like evidence. "I know how much you really make." Silence. Even her brother stopped breathing for a second. I didn't move, didn't blink, just listened. To the weight of that sentence, to the greed behind it, to the betrayal threaded through every syllable. And when she smiled, I finally understood. This wasn't about love. It was an ambush. The numbers had always been hidden, carefully, quietly. My earnings split across accounts, investments layered through old friends, small holdings, silent partnerships. It wasn't deceit, it was insurance, a precaution for exactly this. She'd once called me paranoid, said trust was the foundation of marriage. Funny. Now her siblings circled the living room like vultures who'd smelled something rich. One of her sisters touched the crystal decanter on the table. Another opened a cabinet. Her brothers were already asking questions about property, shares, what's ours. Ours. She watched me the whole time, waiting for me to break the silence. I didn't. I simply poured a drink and let the glass rest against my lip without tasting it. "Why hide it?" she asked finally. Her tone was almost playful. Because she thought she'd already won. In that moment, I saw the full architecture of her betrayal. Months of small, strategic moves, casual curiosity, innocent questions, bank slips left just visible enough for her to photograph. A game of proximity and deceit. And I, foolishly calm, had given her no reason to suspect I'd noticed. I had. Every step. 2 weeks earlier, I'd found the first clue, a misplaced email left open on the shared tablet, a message from her sister about finally getting what's fair. I didn't confront her. I observed, quietly. I noticed new jewelry she hadn't bought, private calls late at night, her sudden interest in my company's financial statements. When she slept, I checked her phone, every chat, every voice note. They weren't subtle. Her siblings called it the jackpot. That's when I moved the funds. Not out of reach, just out of their reach. Every visible account, every tangible number, purposely inflated. A perfect illusion of wealth waiting to be claimed. I wanted to see how far she'd go, how deeply she'd bury herself in greed before realizing she was already standing in the grave she dug. By the time she smiled at me in that living room, surrounded by her blood, she was already buried. She just didn't know it yet. I set the glass down, walked to the table, placed a thin folder in front of her. "What's this?" she asked, but her tone cracked just slightly, like the sound of porcelain splitting in slow motion. Inside were statements, not mine, hers. Transfers, screenshots, conversations, proof of every attempt she'd made to funnel my money into her own name. Proof that every one of those hidden accounts she thought she'd uncovered was fake, monitored, traceable. Her smile faded. "Where did you get this?" "You left it for me," I said. "Every night you thought I was asleep." Her siblings looked at each other, confused, restless. They didn't understand yet. She did, because at the bottom of that folder was a document she hadn't seen before. Her signature on a prenuptial amendment she'd signed months ago, thinking it was a mortgage update. She started to shake, not from fear, from realization. Everything she'd planned, legally worthless. Her brothers grew loud again, indignant. "You can't do this. She deserves half." I looked at them, then at her. "She'll get what she came for." I handed her a single envelope. Inside was a check, modest, enough to sustain comfort, not indulgence, enough to end things quietly. Her eyes brimmed, but she swallowed the anger. She knew fighting meant exposure. The paper trail was immaculate. She looked around, desperate for someone to defend her, but her siblings were already retreating. Greed without payoff loses its loyalty fast. I stayed standing as they left, one by one, muttering excuses. The door closed behind the last of them, and the silence that followed was heavier than any scream. She stood there for a long time, clutching that envelope like it might burn through her skin. "You planned this?" she whispered. "Yes," I said. And then, almost kindly, "You just made it easier."